Holy cats, meow, Batman! Tiki here, and I am watching through every episode of Batman the Animated Series for the first time, and I have gotten to about the midway point of the new Batman Adventures. And you know what? I've liked a lot of these episodes so far. We've hit upon some classics. We've hit upon some gems that, while they might not be classics, they still have some interesting, thought-provoking subject matter behind them. And then there's trash like this. Dragon, what the hell? I don't think I dislike this as much as the Roxy episode, but this wasn't good. This wasn't good. I don't know. Maybe it's the redesign. Ultimately, Dragon, you know what? I'm just gonna have one very solid, simple thesis statement here, and we can kind of break it down from there. All right. Catwoman just doesn't work on this show for me. Like 9 times out of 10 with Catwoman, I feel like it's been like a swing and a miss with me in terms of getting me into it. I don't know. I just feel like this show really showcases a lot of the DC villains at their finest. I don't know, for some reason, Catwoman, whenever we bring her into it, there's Dragon. Maybe it's just the fact that we are playing in the realms of, technically children's entertainment here, and of course with Catwoman there is a little bit of a flirtatious, sexual tension element to it, and I don't know, man. I don't think that's translated very well, just across the board through these Catwoman episodes we've gotten. And this one's kind of no exception. I found this one, conceptually, I was hoping for a little bit more with the cult. Cults can be interesting to me. I feel like you are more averse to cults than I am as a subject matter. But I gotta tell you, man, my heart got a little aflutter when I saw that Dini had a hand in the story, but I don't know if this was just a bad day at the office or if he didn't contribute much, because I gotta tell you, this is one of the weaker ones from season 4 that we've covered so far, for sure, in my opinion.
Hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still waiting for me to be cued for my line, but just go on.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Dragon. All right, well, you know what, Dragon? That's why we're here, to break it down, to give me my Jesus Christ. Hello, my Dragon.
Well, you see, folks, long ago made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as a spirit guide to Gotham in a way.
Yeah, that's right. And tonight we're talking about Cult of the Cats. Oh boy. You just gave me that shovel and just let me dig and dig
Yeah.
and dig. Well, regardless, Dragon, there's all my thoughts on the episode out of the way for now. I totally forgot to transition. It's like you drilled into my head the new Batman Adventures. The new Batman Adventures. All right. But, it's like I'm just a hard boy to train, I guess.
Yep.
Okay, so Dragon, yes, those are my thoughts on this episode. What say you, sir?
Yeah, Cult of the Cat is it's an interesting one. This is essentially the last Catwoman episode we're gonna get in the DCAU period. There's a little short thing which I don't know if we're desperate we'll cover, but we really don't need to. It's like that's as far else we're gonna get Catwoman this period in the DCAU. But yeah, this is kind of the last statement. It kind of gives you a little bit of clarity on kind of what we did with her in the grand total. And yeah, Catwoman. It's so weird because Adrienne Barbeau is a great voice for Catwoman, and I think in small doses she's worked phenomenally. Again, I think the best we've ever gotten out of this Catwoman was Almost Got Him, the ending of
Yeah,
Almost
I would
Got
agree.
Him.
I would agree to that.
And I mean, I liked her. Like, look at Cat in the Claw Part 1. She's great in that.
Mm.
And again, like Catwoman, just in small doses, like the story has to be right, and I feel the curse of Catwoman in the DCAU has been they weren't able to I forget if Standards and Practices was entirely behind the whole wildlife preservation thing at the start or not. I want to say, like, not Standards and Practices, Sean Catherine Derrick. I want to say she might have had some hands in it. We're basically, the really PC writer in the room in the early days, which I can't remember if she was there before Alan Burnett or not. I know she was like one of the kind of, she was the one always pushing the, pushing the kind of the kid-friendly stuff. And like, no, we can't have her be a thief. Let just a thief. We gotta have her be like a Robin Hood or something. We gotta. And because of that, we like the Catwoman we have now is the model we should have started with in every sense of the word, minus the costume. Okay, minus the costume. It's like everything we should have had. The the dark hair, have her be a thief, and that whole thing. And Dini got to get his hooks into what the Catwoman should have been at the end of the original animated series with Catwalk. That was kind of the perfect balance. Where okay,
I like that one. I feel like I liked that one.
You were. I think you liked it, but you were just kind of checked out on Catwoman. That's kind of where it was.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty much this.
Yeah, but I mean, again, that episode was way better than this, though. That's the difference, though. That one had ventriloquist in it. Was fun, and again, that's where you had that's the great thing about going to New Adventures from the animated series, that you really get a sense of continuity with Batman and Catwoman's relationship, where Batman is really heartbroken by what she did in that episode, in Catwalk. She broke his heart in that episode. He's really just been really sour to her in the 2 episodes we've gotten of her New Adventures. And I really like that kind of track in that. Like, yeah, Batman's not cutting her any breaks this episode because of that heartbreak.
Yeah, speaking of which, that other episode we got was not great either, in my opinion.
Well, you see what I'm saying. In that respect, I like what we do with Catwoman, but it doesn't really save the overall, like, we're just kind of... Catwoman, they're kind of checking the boxes for Catwoman, but it's just kind of, we should have gotten this earlier, and also by this point, yeah, like we've kind of taken like the fun out of the Batman Catwoman dynamic. We've given it progression, but we've taken out like, oh, where's the seductive fun? Where's the thrill seeking element? It's like now there's kind of he doesn't like her anymore, and she's she's getting her way when she really shouldn't, like that sort of stuff. But anyways, all that is Call of the Cat's a tricky one for me. I'm probably a little bit more in the negative, but there are things I like in it, not a lot, but there are things I like. But anyway, so bona fide, there's really not a whole lot here. So. Okay, the director on this was Butch Lukic, the guy who did appropriately You Scratch My Back, the other Catwoman episode.
Oh, okay.
And Love is a Crock. The writer on this, we had a dual writer on this. We had the great Paul Dini, of course, behind episodes like Joker's Millions and...
Dragon, he is one of those names where it's like, of course, as soon as I see him, it's like, ooh, this has potential.
Yep. And then we got Stan Berkowitz. Stan Berkowitz, he did Never Fear, which was an excellent episode. Stan Berkowitz is a good writer. He's no Bob Goodman, but he's a good writer.
What's up with these good writers having a bad day at the office this episode?
Yeah, because here's the thing. Stan Berkowitz, not only did he did Never Fear, he did from Superman the Animated Series, the best Superman episode. He did the late Mr. Kent, and he did the third part of World's Finest, along with Steve Gerber, who did the Critters. Like Gerber did a different part, I think. So Berkowitz did part 3. Gerber did, I think, like part 2 potentially. I'm not sure, but anyways, the point being, they worked on World's Finest. So, yeah, it's weird. Again, there's a bad day at the office now and again. I mean, again, it's kind of stands to reason. Again, you put a lot of work. Dini came up with the core concepts. Dini came up with the basically the very fundamentally we do a cat of, we do kind of the cult of the cat, essentially, and we do a giant cat. So that's really Dini's contribution. The rest is a lot of Berkowitz. Okay, studio worked on this big surprise. It's Coco. Did Critters, did You Scratch My Back, did Joker's Millions, also a little sploosh of Dong Yang, but at this point, it's all Coco, let's be honest. And let's see, that's... Stan Berkowitz kind of modeled this after an old 30s movie. A little fun fact from 1938. It's called Bringing Up Baby. Ever watched that in like a film class or anything?
No, I have definitely heard of it, but I have not seen it.
Yeah, so Bringing Up Baby. The influence is essentially is Batman's Cary Grant and Selena Kyle's, I believe, Audrey Hepburn, and it's essentially she's duping our Cary Grant lead, and essentially that's kind of what happens. That's kind of the model.
That's fun. Honestly, with that context, I might appreciate it a little more, because you know me, Dragon, I love me a good film noir.
Yeah. The last thing to kind of cover is so Catman's in this episode. So Catman is kind of a
Oh God. Oh fuck me.
yeah. So we do kind of a different iteration of Catman here. So Paul Dini, he loves doing the old. I imagine this was a Dini pull as well. Again, hence the whole cult of the cat thing. I imagine he wanted to do a thing on Catman and thought, like, how can we revamp Catman in an interesting way? Which again, concept like, hey, let's do Catman as like a cultist. That's not bad. And Catman's he's kind of a straightforward character. He's basically kind of a He's kind of like a male version of Catwoman. Here's the fun thing. Catman starts off as the animal it's kind of the animal ambassador version of
Yeah.
Catwoman. He's kind of kind of the friend to the cats that she starts off as. And Dini's just kind of trying to legitimize the silly concept that was Catman, which over the years he's been more legitimized, and this is kind of like the beginnings of that. And speaking of which, they modeled him after the '90s revamp. That's why all the members of the cult are wearing black with like the Wolverine claws. That's from the '90s.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you about the Wolverine claws.
Yeah, and the animated series they did a stab at Catman in the tie-in comics, which is not that great. Which we then, honestly, they're about on par with each other. It was just a little bit more of like another a guy literally in a gray version of the Catwoman suit, but for a man that was just back in the animated series, just trying to win over Catwoman's affection. So that's pretty much what it was. He was just trying to impress Catwoman by somehow framing her, which never made a lot of sense. I don't know.
Wow.
Basically, he was trying to like emulate Catwoman. Ended up.
Let's hope the Batman the Animated Series reboot has better stories than that.
Well, sure. I mean, again, these were not like the good tie-ins that were. I mean, this is like New Adventures made their tie-ins count. Where sometimes you have some stock ones like, hey, let's do Catman, and it's.
Right.
Okay.
Oh God.
Anyways, that's about it. So Catman. Okay, let's get into the episode.
All right, so we start in the finale of The Shining, apparently.
Yes, so Catwoman's fleeing through kind of this topiary maze, very, very Shining-esque.
Daddy, I'm coming to get you!
See, it's a good thing this wasn't right after that Cold Comfort episode. Then Cold Comfort, otherwise she'd be frozen.
Oh God.
Anyway, so yes, she's fleeing through.
All right, I'll give credit where credit's due. It's a fun way to kind of like jump us right into the middle of an action scene. It's an interesting location. Good opening.
Yeah. So then we have, again, the cultists, which essentially are cat ninjas, which I thought was kind of a weird choice, but, here's the thing about
I definitely thought it was a weird choice, and it kind of, I mean, like I said, I'm giving credit where credit's due to the location itself, Dragon, but right off the bat, I'm like, okay, what are we doing?
See, here's what bothers me about the ninjas, okay? We had the League of Assassins. Why do we have to double down on the... It's basically, we gave the League of Assassins Wolverine claws and cat ears. That's what we did here, essentially, pretty much. It's
like a discount version of both things.
Yeah, it's like Batman needs someone to fight. We need to make the cult scary. So again, the other thing to bear in mind is even though Kids WB is very violent, apparently, there's only there's for the children. There's only so much we can do. I imagine cults might be a tough sell, so it's less cult, it's more ninja-like. Maybe that was kind of ultimately what it was. They had to simplify it. Maybe I guess that's the logic.
What was that one cartoon where it was very blatantly a cult? Oh God, I want to say it was
something to go on.
I want to say it was Rescue Rangers, honestly. Like where, again, we could go down a rabbit hole with it, but Disney has actually done some weird cult stuff. Of course, Gravity Falls being among the more prevalent ones that they've done involving cult stuff.
Isn't that more Illuminati?
I mean, yes, but Illuminati is pretty much the ultimate cult, so...
Well, I mean, that's more... Well, let's not quibble over culture. Let's refocus. So, anyway, so then we can. This is always kind of a dumb idea to me. Okay, so we turn, then we face a panther that is just like in the garden somehow. Again, I guess there's like kind of a cat. Given the cat theme of the complex, we have just wild, dangerous cats roaming around, including a panther, which
they're hanging out at Siegfried and Roy's garden, Dragon.
Yep, that's a good reference. Yes. So the Catwoman, she tames the cat. Which here's the thing: we've always established Catwoman has like a kinship with like cats of all varieties. And here's the thing: I think we went too far with this episode. We set it up here for Act 3, so I get why we're doing it here. And maybe I'd cut him slack if it was just the Panther. But my problem is
to a point where it's like, hey, big guy, the sun's getting real low.
Pretty much. I mean, Here's what would have saved it for me. If only I wish like we just took like a beat like when Catwoman gets back to her apartment or something or whatever. Like if the Catwoman costume is like cat pheromones on or catnip or something, you know?
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't that make sense?
Sure.
Because it's like it's a bit of a buy. Like how is every cat gonna know that? Oh yeah, she likes cats, man. She's done the whole preserve thing in the early seasons of the show. We weren't there for that. Anyway, so the point being, this is where I'm calling BS on this idea. Like, why do we have Siegfried and Roy's garden going on here? Okay, so she tames the cat, and then the cat's turning on presumably its master, presumably on the owner.
Right. Yeah.
Who thought this was a good idea if it's just going to attack the other cultists?
So, I mean, like, right off the bat, Dragon, where this episode is just filled with, like, dumb villains, dumb plot holes. It's not looking good. It's really, like, you talking me through this isn't softening me to this.
I'm aware. I mean, I'll highlight the good stuff, which is few and far between, but let's get there. So we have a honey of a scene coming up, which I can't wait to get to. But anyway. So okay, so she says, hey, Goldie's got this gold statue she stole, by the way, which is why they're chasing her. It's kind of an important detail. She stole this little gold cat statue. Sorry, boys, Goldie's coming with me. I'm going to find her a new home, or something along those lines. So let's see, the Panther goes after the men. I'm questioning why this is happening. Thomas Blake, meanwhile, that's Catman, the leader of the cult. So Thomas Blake, he instructs his followers to get that statue no matter what it takes. Let's see. Oh yeah. Anyway, then we show off. They do like a little cult salute, and they show off the Wolverine claws. Essentially, again, '90s pull. So again, the episode's pretty straightforward. Okay, Catwoman's in big trouble.
Oh, it is. It's very much just like, and they chase her.
So she's cornered in an alley, and we have like three men on kind of the Kira bikes, if you will. And you Catwoman.
Look, guys, the fun is fun, but enough already. How about I give the statue back, say I'm sorry, and we forget the whole thing?
It's too late. It's been defiled. We need to sanctify it with blood, which is that's a creepy cult twist. I'll give you that. That's not bad. We need to sanctify it with blood of the heathen. So anyway, so she whips the guns away. She's jumping on heads. She goes to the fire escape. Meanwhile, Batman. This is funny. This is not the scene I'm talking about. This is still funny though. So Batman nabs these robbers from a jewelry store heist. And they're like claiming, we're locksmiths, honest, the ski mask are fashion. It's a fashion statement. So Batman hoists them up so they can think about what they've done as the cops are showing. But I love it. Batman's just doing that to put salt in the wound. Like, well, yeah, you stole, so I'm gonna hang you here. I'm not gonna tie you to like a lamppost or something. I'm gonna suspend you from top of the building.
Right.
Because that's Batman. So anyway, Batman, after he nabs these guys, he hoists them up, he leaves, and he heads to the Batmobile, and he finds Catwoman curled up in the car, all seductive and waiting for him. It's about time you got here. So then we begin my favorite scene in the episode.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so this is like a Batman who's just done with Catwoman at this point. Let me get
right.
Conroy's doing phenomenal work in this scene here. He just plays a Batman who's just so fed up with Catwoman, and just a Batman who's so confident in what he's about to do here. So let me guess, you need a warm place to spend the night. I know. I says yes, and of course he goes, I know of one, jail. As the lid closes, then they're heading. The Conroy's timing is just so great. Like this whole, I know of one, jail. It's like he's just the new Batman adventure. The new Batman Adventures. Batman. He's on this arc of becoming really distant, and of course the whole Nightwing story at play. He's very much Batman's going through a transitional phase, and like these past like kind of fun, thrill-seeking relationships are definitely kind of losing their luster. And again, she chewed on his heart and spit it out in Catwalk. So he knows there's no saving Catwoman fundamentally, at least for the most part. He's just like, you know what, she's not going to change. I'm going to take her in. Well, you haven't changed. You haven't changed at all. You haven't changed much either, Selena. And anyway, she mentions that she's trying to spin this like she wouldn't be safe in jail, and this is what makes you say then we hear all the gunfire and the pursuers. Next question. It's really good banter going on throughout the sequence, is my point. So, they have the three bikes versus the Batmobile, like they're throwing caltropes at the Batmobile, which then leads to like this great beat where the Batmobile has like an automatic like tire replenisher thing. the tire replacement thing. So let's see. So Catwoman has figured that Batman is going to save her skin because that's what he does, right? And then Batman's coming in here with the hard sell, and I love this so much. Batman's like, normally, but it'll cost you. And she's thinking all promiscuously, like, she's thinking it's like a
Ooh, I have a
proposition.
couple things in mind. Ooh.
Exactly. She's thinking, oh, this is like the Tom King Batman. This is going to go great for me. Like, no,
Right.
this is no Batman. Then Batman comes in with the hard sell here. He wants her to return everything she's ever stolen, give it back to the owners. And
Now that in itself, Dragon, is a compelling Batman and Catwoman story. It's just I feel like the episode gets away from that idea really quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. That's the thing. I love that. To me, and again, this mirrors the catwalk of it all really well. Is that Batman, after that heartbreak, after everything he's been through this one, he's taking one last stab at rehabilitating Catwoman with an ultimatum. It's like trying to take someone to rehab essentially, only by force, which is doomed to fail. It's like, okay, you're going to give all your stuff back, otherwise, I'm not going to save your skin. And she's like, that's my life's work. You're nuts. So again, in a sense, Batman's trying to bring her back to before Catwalk, back to the activist beginnings from Cat in the Claw almost. And she's like, crazy, that's my life's work. And he says, Conroy, you're just nailing it. All right. So he slows the car down as the cultists are like clawing at the car and everything. And she's okay, deal, drive. Awesome. Oh, so great.
Yeah, that's the best moment of the episode by a country mile, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so we go to Pretty Kitty Imports, which essentially is her makeshift hideout at the moment.
Hey, bad guys, you looking for Catwoman? She's definitely not in Pretty Kitty Imports.
Well, unless you go by Tim Burton's neck of the Batwoods, there you're going to see like all sorts of cat, like a little cat plaza, a little cat hideout. Right. There's going to be big gold creepy, like kind of clock cat heads everywhere. Anyway.
All right, so we're looking up some exposition about the goat. The goat worship cats from ancient Egypt, and one of them was the holiest, basically a holy thief.
Yes,
Am I getting that right?
Well, basically, like the holiest rite within the the cult was theft. So they worshipped theft. They connected theft to cats. Ergo, Catwoman said, "Oh man, they should pray to me." He says, "No, they pray to Thomas Blake. This guy is a psycho who lives for revenge, which means you're in trouble." And of course, this is the line I think speaks to your Catwoman. That you're not crazy about Catwoman. Tiki. She says, "Oh, he's kind of cute." And that right there, Selena, you're wearing it right now, man. You're again. Did you forget any of the stuff that happened in Act 1, like at all?
Thank you.
She's
Yes.
trying to kill you. This is what I'm saying. Like
Dragon, I feel validated. Thank you.
See, again, that's the frustrating thing because again, I love that we have Catwoman as a thief, but then we set her back. Honestly, what it feels like, Tiki? We're gonna have moments of this in the animation.
Oh God, what?
It feels like we're just trying too hard with Catwoman at this point. That's what it feels like because. If you'll later on, which we give her a lot of comedy, and like we see the eyes are moving all kind of like comedically, it's like, what are we? I mean, look, I'm not saying Catwoman didn't have like a smart sense of humor, like during like stuff like Almost Got Him and like the earlier appearance. I'm not saying she didn't have like a wit to her, but this is like, why are we doing all this comedy with Catwoman? What's going on here? I mean, I know there's the Audrey Hepburn influence, but it's still, I mean, there's a line.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we have a bit that I'm convinced, man, after rewatching this episode, I'm convinced, after Batman says you're in over your head, Celine, and there's a sniper pointed at her, I'm convinced Dini, because he wrote this too, he lifted this bit and he put it in a much better story in Arkham City.
Oh, yeah, sure.
In Big Mo in Arkham City, he tells Catwoman it's not safe here, and then he pulls her away from a sniper. I'm convinced they pulled that from this episode.
But that is one thing to I don't know if it speaks to how good the episode is per se, but you definitely it speaks to how fast paced the episode is, which again I am arguing if that's a good thing or a bad thing because we get just a teeny tiny little bit of exposition and then bam, they're chasing her again, they're right on her tail.
Yep, and so Batman's putting out some smoke pellets so they can get away, and then Catwoman suggests an escape. And basically, this episode's a series. The episode, another way of summarizing the episode is Catwoman has a series of bad ideas that almost get him killed. So that's pretty much the episode.
Yeah, unfortunately, and it's hard to watch sometimes, Dragon. It's just kind of frustrating. Like we've already kind of established, with with season 4, with the new Batman adventures, if you will. One of the things that I really respect about these episodes is that some of them might fly under the radar, but a lot of them have some really meaty, interesting ideas and kind of philosophical things to chew on. This episode has none of that.
Yeah, it's a lot of cat spectacle.
Not one iota.
Yeah. So okay, so Catwoman basically there's like these built-in kind of smokestacks and but it's like a furnace, but I think it's also like kind of like a smokestack for the.
Oh, come with me and we can go on the rooftops of London with the chimney sweeps.
Right. So anyway,
sorry.
They're trying to escape through the furnace, which has like a lot of these little gas valves in it. Which the minute I saw, I was like, okay, this is not good. so Batman grapples, Catwoman climbs up, and then with the cultists turn up the gas, and then they light a match, which is not good. And then we have this really harrowing. I love when Batman does. I love when he grabs people by the waist to save their bacon. So Bastard grabs her. Then big old explosion, which essentially knocks them separately from each other because they don't even necessarily clear the thing. The explosion took out the bottom part of the furnace before it took out the top part, so they didn't really clear that either. It's like it's crazy they survived, but my God, it's like big old explosion. They're separated. Catwoman's caught.
Oh God. Dragon, for some reason, I have this highlighted in my notes, and I do remember it. This is a weird Conroy delivery, and tell me if I'm crazy here, where Batman's just like, Selina! Is it a weird delivery on Conroy's part? I don't know. I feel like he's half interested in Selina.
Well, I mean, it's probably the point, but I don't know. I mean, I just felt like he was calling out Selina. I think in the past he might have said Catwoman, but I think now he's just so done with like Selina.
Yeah, I think the tone probably is just, now that I'm thinking about it, I think the tone probably is just he's just done. He's just like, he doesn't want her to get hurt, but at the end of the day, he could really care less. Except
this episode's Batman dealing with his ex-girlfriend, in a sense. So that's what the episode is.
Right.
So, all right. So, point being, they're separated. Catwoman is now captured by the cult, but this is great, and I love this. But Batman didn't walk away empty-handed. He got one of them. He glides down, which, by the way, second time he's glided so far. He's starting to glide now, which is really big. He's now gliding.
They glide now.
Yes, Tiki, they glide now. So point being, Batman is now captured one of them. Meanwhile, Catwoman, we have this. We use the glide as a transition too, which is even cooler. Like as he glides down, all intimidatingly, we just cut the black as he just pushes into the camera to Catwoman waking up on this Egyptian table, basically surrounded by all these creepy cat statues.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it because it's been distracting the whole episode. If this was live action, this dude would totally be played by Rami Malek.
I didn't think. Actually, he wouldn't be bad for it. But he's not really I don't know if he's a really fit. I don't know if he's a little scrawny for it.
I'm just saying the eyes, man. This dude's got intense Rami eyes.
Yeah, you're right. He's a little bit of Rami Malek. Yeah. Anyway,
just imagine Rami Malek fucking petting that cat, while delivering the evil monologue.
Of course, we say this not having seen the new James Bond movie. For all we know, he has a cat in that movie, but
Frankly, I'd be disappointed if he didn't have a cat in that movie.
Oh boy, remember when that was a thing? But now we're just kind of like, oh yeah,
yeah. The Quiet Place 2 was coming out in March of last year.
Yep.
Anyways,
so let's talk about things that are actually happening. So Cat. Well, okay, so let's.
Yes, Dragon. This has been out for over 2 decades. I hope it's happening.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so basically, Thomas Blake here, she's trying to flirt her way out with the very impressed Thomas Blake, who's got a thing for, and he's always historically had a thing for Catwoman too, so that kind of makes sense. I mean, just kind of adapting that part of the character here. It's like, yeah, okay, I get that. So he gives her the sales pitch of the cult. Essentially, he gives her kind of like the old NXIVM kind of seminar, if you will. The old watchtower or so, what have you. So the lady cultist is like, oh, she's just calling out the BS. Like, she's just trying to save her skin. What are you doing? Let's just kill her now. Like, no, no, no. She's asking, like, she's asking, the questions. Curiosity, interest is the way of conversion. Conversion's good for the soul, and it's good for
Right,
the body, too.
right.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm wondering why the cult can't kill me, so I don't have to watch the episode anymore.
Okay, back to a good scene though.
I'm sorry.
Again, the other great scene of the episode.
Go ahead.
So the point being, Catwoman's talking her way out of trouble yet again, but the more important scene. So we're in the Batcave, man. This is cool. We've never done this before. So we're in the Batcave, and Batman is interrogating someone using the accoutrements of the Batcave. And the cultist awakens with his mask off, and he's instantly like, where am I? And then you hear this ominous Conroy's bringing him in.
You fond of cats, aren't you? Maybe you like my favorite animal.
So then, like, a swarm of bats comes up, and he falls, and then Batman catches him with the grappling, use a little grapple catch there. He says, I'll tell you, and like Batman, he means business. He's like, where's Catwoman? He says, where am I? Wrong answer. And then he pulls out the whole, like, my favorite animal thing. That whole, maybe you like my favorite. It feels so Frank Miller-esque in, like, the interrogation of, like, he drags the one mutant up.
Good Frank Miller, non-crazy Steve Frank Miller.
Yeah, back before the crazy hat. Seriously, every time, when he put that hat on, that's when he went down.
It bled on me.
Right. Okay. So the point being, he cracks. He's going to tell him. So Batman's on the trail. So rest assured. But I wish Batman knew what was going on. Then he probably wouldn't put so much hustle into things. All right. The Catwoman feels like she's been a member all along. It's like, and of course the cultist.
I love cats. I love stealing. You guys love cats. You guys love stealing.
And the cultist ladies say, like, oh, she's a common thief. And Catwoman grabs her and says, hey, I'm a spectacular thief. So, and this is where the comedy comes into play. I'm like, come on. Where she's like, well, look, we'll find out how sincere she is soon. Yeah. Wait, what are you talking about? It's like, I don't know. It just feels a little.
Catwoman is just like really in over her head, and I know she is, and that's just fucking dumb. And unfortunately, it kind of puts her in a position. I hate to say it. It puts her in a position where Batman just kind of has to save her, which I hate.
Yep. So you know the Anne Hathaway Catwoman wouldn't be doing this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no doubt. I mean, the Anne Hathaway Catwoman put Batman in a sort of, like, really perilous situation. She'd be the one putting Batman in this kind of situation, not the other way around.
Yep. All right, so basically we tee up the initiation, which then leads to kind of a funny line. We're taking a poke at cults. You mean like oaths and membership fees? Like, well, more to it than that. But yes, are you interested? So then this bit kind of summarizes the episode if you really look at it. So he asks, hey, are you interested? And then we pan over the Catwoman's POV, and she sees behind Thomas Blake these giant cat statues that are so ridiculously jewel-encrusted. It's like that jewel-encrusted gag from Futurama. Went to, like, the rich village with all, like, Leah's, like, potential husbands. Well, the husband that could shapeshift and all the other guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is like this jewel-encrusted cat statue. Very... Okay, the initiation's in 1 hour. He takes her to a room. You won't regret joining us. And of course, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot out of it. Which, to be fair, that's a witty Catwoman line. Yeah, she's going to get a lot out of it. She's going to steal everything. She's Catwoman. It's what she does. So Thomas Blake, he puts the moves on Selina, which, again, he's already a creepy cultist. So what else is new? It's just, it's a two-way street. It's an hour's a long time to wait, and then again.
That is legitimately kind of creepy.
And then, again, Catwoman here. Again, it feels really weird, this scene. It says, oh, Thomas, I need time to get in the mood for the initiation.
I know.
There'll be plenty of opportunities later. Again, all skeezy, culty stuff, man.
I don't like it. I don't like the implications.
All right, way to sum it up. Okay, so anyway, so point being, he leaves her alone. Catwoman starts to instantly ransack the room.
Yep.
So now, to be fair, and again, if the episode were more focused around this aspect, as in Catwoman
joining a cult just to steal from it,
not the cult part, but I mean the aspect of Catwoman kleptomania big time. I like
Oh
that.
yeah, right.
I like the idea of Batman potentially being drawn into Catwoman again to help her overcome her kleptomania. That's an interesting story to me. That connects to where we last left her, where the kleptomania broke him up. You know, where she just can't stop herself, and she can't reform. In this case, maybe it's more of like a mental thing. Just she has to steal, like a Marie Schrader sort of thing, only better, ideally.
Right.
But yeah, that's unfortunately we don't really lean into that enough outside of this one scene, which is kind of a shame. But anyways, Batman arrives to save her, and we have like the big. She's like putting stuff in a pillowcase. Batman arrives to save her. She's it's fine. No, everything's under control. Like, wait, what? Yeah, I had to bring a guy to the Batcave. You know how little that happens?
Oh God.
I double timed it, man. You don't need my help. What? So Batman's basically he's in utter disbelief once he sees she's stealing
That's
again.
The other thing, though, Dragon, with this episode is that Batman really kind of did all.
Wait, Batman what?
He does fuck all. He doesn't really do anything this episode.
Yeah, you're not. Outside of like that fun outside of driving.
The interrogation scene is cool, but
you're right. You're right though. That's about he drives and he interrogates you. That's about
It's really like it's not. For an episode of Batman the Animated Series or the new Batman Adventures or what have you, there's really not a whole lot of Batman.
Well, to be fair, it's more than they did in Critters.
That's very true.
And Bruce Wayne got one scene in Critters, but outside of it, it's like, why is Batman talking to a goat? I question a lot.
God.
Why is there a goat in this Batman Gordon scene? Seriously, what? Anyway.
Later, there's a goat in my Batman Gordon scene.
Anyway, I just to refocus here. Okay, so Batman is in disbelief that she's stealing again from the people that are trying to kill her for, guess what? Stealing from them.
And really, it is a pretty dumb move, all things considered.
So dumb, Batman has to spell it out in the episode. I don't believe. Yeah. He literally has to say, I don't believe this. Then again, she's framing it like, I'm going to teach
got everything under control, really.
And she's framing it like, I'm going to teach him a lesson, which is dumb. So this is too dangerous even for Catwoman to handle. He brings out the back cuffs, like if she doesn't comply, if she doesn't come to her senses, he's going to have to cuff her and just to get her out of there. And then this is the most intrigue, but then we don't do anything with her. Catwoman has a breakdown, again, obviously manipulation, but she has a breakdown about her kleptomania. Like, why do I keep stealing? And Batman's like, now is not the time. And like, will you help me? And Batman, again, very true blue, very Adam West Batman, if you will. He's all about redeeming and rehabilitating Catwoman. I just love that he's just very, again, he's not being caught in it necessarily, but he's saying, oh, look, I'll do what I can, but now we have to. And then, really telling move here, Catwoman goes for a kiss, which she kisses Batman, and you see Batman is not receptive to this kiss at all, man.
No, ice cold.
Now, what I love about this is that if you loop around to the very beginnings of their relationship, that first episode they were in, there's a moment where Batman saves her and she kisses him, and he has like kind of a boyish surprise on his face. Where here, nothing. And I just love that, seeing how cold it's just gotten right now. And then Batman right after says, "Are we done? Can we go now?" Like, now can we go? He's just so. It's like Batman's not falling for it. Again, I love, like, for a moment we deal with like a really interesting story about addiction and theft and stuff like that, but then Batman turns his back and it becomes Cary Grant from that old movie.
Yeah.
It becomes the Cary Grant from Bringing Up Baby. He literally gets his clock cleaned as he gets hit by the clock in the sack. Like, bam, Batman's knocked out. She's trying to get him out of there, and then he's caught by Thomas Blake. Which, again, this is like the one relatable thing here, I guess, is that, this is like a cult. Anyone who has a family member in a cult, this is the nightmare. The family member goes to the rescue and the cult takes you hostage. It's like the worst case scenario. Oh God. So their prayers have been answered. They now have blood for the blood to sanctify the statue, which is not Catwoman's, and Catwoman's already passed her initiation. She's proved her loyalty. She knocked out the Batman who's trying to save her. That's a real prickish move. You're in.
Right.
And so then Batman awakens in a Coliseum, because it's a Coliseum.
Oh, yeah, a Coliseum because it's a Coliseum. That's a better... Oh, fuck. Why are we doing this?
Well, this is what I'm saying to you. It's going to go by real fast because there's really
This is what my life has become.
Okay, so like the belt's gone to make the odds fair. Yeah, right,
Oh
fair. Did you see the size of
God.
that thing? Fair. Anyway, so
Oh,
now
I'm sorry.
Now, to be fair, so Dini likes putting like kind of weird animals in the episodes when he can, which oddly enough, not involved in critters, given all the weird animals in that when you really think about it. Because Dini's putting like hyenas, he's putting like weird birds and like almost got him. He likes putting like weird kind of mutators, such animals in the episodes. So here we have Dini's other pictures like, hey, giant cat, which again harmless enough. And I mean, here's what we're missing. Okay, if the cult of the cat, oh, I don't know, maybe worshipped this giant cat.
It's so stupid. Yeah, no, Dragon, I totally agree with you. It feels so disconnected. It comes out of nowhere. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. I don't like it at
Yeah, at the end
all.
of the day, I don't know enough about the cult outside of, okay, so there's an Egyptian foundation for the thing, but that doesn't tell me
Yeah.
why. Why do they worship cats? What's
No,
so special
honestly,
about
if
the
the
cat?
fucking cat would have been like the mascot or whatever, or the
Yeah.
leader, if they're, it just something,
Yeah.
something.
Okay, so they bring out, in quotes, the ultimate cat for the Batman to fight.
I'm
This is
sorry,
about
you are not Scrimbleshanks the Railway Cat, sir. You are not the ultimate cat.
I love they framed it. I forgot they framed it the ultimate cat for Batman. Apparently there were other cats, but they saved the ultimate cat for Batman, which is this huge like saber-tooth cat thing. So, by the way, one of the first mentions of splicing, which is going to be really big in Batman Beyond. So that's why
I did
they
notice that. I did take note of that, yeah.
so it's the second time, like we had the Tiger episode, which was probably that's an episode worse than this. Let's be honest. So we had Tiger.
I don't know. I feel like Tiger was maybe worse than this, but I feel like it was more memorable than this, too.
So outside of Tiger, this is the first time we've mentioned splicing by name, but we kind of had splicing in that one. Oddly enough, both Catwoman episodes, which go figure, I guess. So they had to nix some of the blood in the scene because again, the other thing Batman does in this episode is get the crap kicked out of him, like DiCaprio in that bear in the Revenant. It's pretty much what.
Right.
I mean, again, they can only make Batman. Here's the thing: if you see Batman, he's getting sliced and diced by this thing, but no blood outside, like a nosebleed or something. That's about as bad as it gets. He's getting the crap beat out of him. Catwoman's feeling bad. She helps him out, tosses him a shield, gets some cool shield action, steers into a coliseum. So to a column within the coliseum. Sorry. Thing crushes down. Let's see. So then Catwoman gets the ultimate cat to turn on its masters somehow. Again, I don't.
Yeah, just more BS, pretty much.
It would make more sense to me if okay, the usual cat trick doesn't work on this thing because spliced cat. It's beyond nature. I don't know. Okay, so let's see. So then this bit feels really forced to me. It's like really they can't. Batman can't get out of can't climb up by himself. And she has like claws. She can't just go to like a different area to like climb up. So basically, Catwoman needs Batman's help to get out of the Coliseum, and Batman's very kind of almost like Scorpion the Frog-esque here. It's like, how do I get up? I'll help you. After all that, you don't trust me? Like, hey, I've been knocked out twice tonight, which technically no, he's only been knocked out once if you really think about it. I mean, I guess if you count the explosion, but he didn't get really knocked out. He just kind of, I don't know, he just kind of got separated, and he was like hanging. I don't think he'd be knocked out while you're hanging for your life.
Yeah.
And so I've been knocked out twice tonight, but I still have my long-term memory. Like, Batman's no fool. He's like, I'm tired of being Cary Grant. I know what's going to happen here. He's going to leave me down here. But there's a sweet bit here. Batman ultimately, at the end of the day, Batman's always going to help someone. He's always going to he helps her out because he can't help it. He helps her out. Because again, it's always about saving someone before saving himself, and deep down, Batman has to believe that there's hope for Catwoman deep down. So that faith is rewarded for a moment. For a moment, it's rewarded. She tosses a rope down there. He climbs up. Then he gets his back slashed, and then we have Batman actually doing something. Batman versus Catman. Little fight going on there.
And they fight.
Catwoman then easily dispatches with the lady who's really ticked off cultist, which I thought that was going to be more of a fight when you really think about it. Like, she was really ticked off out of this whole episode. You think there would be more of a knuckles down, drag out fight, right?
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting much from this episode, all things considered, either way.
So then, okay, so after Catwoman dispatches with her, the Ultimate Cat returns, and no Catwoman, which means Batman's in trouble. Nice kitty, nice kitty. The cat leaps and Batman dodges as Catman's not so lucky. This is brutal what happens to Catman here. So the cat leaps, takes him down with the cat, and he just bam, he gets like crushed in that Coliseum, man. He just like falls, and I like that his defeat was like the symbol of the cult. Essentially, is what his undoing was: the Coliseum and the cat. Even though we didn't connect those well at all, but that was his undoing. Then we have the aftermath, which is a nice scene where the cultists are arrested. Thomas Blake's in an ambulance because his bones are crushed. The cat is caged and whatever. I have no idea what's going to happen there, but we have a giant cat now. And then we have a nice way to round out an episode. And again, a little bit of a callback to Cat in the Claw. That the first Catwoman 2-part ended with a Batman Gordon scene before we had a little Catwoman PS at the end. Where nice scene. Rarely does Batman ever stick around to get patched up by the by the ambulance, by the medical attention afterwards. And I like that Gordon can offer that to him there and brought him coffee too.
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of the little things that count with Gordon.
Brought him coffee and his utility belt, and they have a little conversation here. It says, Gordon wants the cultists in the tiger cage, and then also wants them in a tiger cage, but they're entitled to a trial. Batman says, well, there's plenty of stolen goods in there you can use for evidence. And then Gordon informs Batman, there's enough to convict, but not as much as you might think. And then that leaves the Batman saying, oh, so he's put two and two together for you. There's really this iffy ending. So, Tiki, tell us what the iffy ending is.
Yeah, the iffy ending is that Catwoman made off with all the jewels, and now she's in Paris lapping it up with ISIS.
Yeah.
Not the fucking terrorist group, the fucking cat.
You really gotta let the cat thing go. Yeah, the terrorist group thing go.
I'm just saying, just for clarification's sake, she's not hanging up in Paris with a bunch of terrorists, just with a cat. It's all good.
All right.
But
she's like saying virtue is its own reward. I should be on the right side of the law more often.
I'm so done with this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's like, here's the thing. In any other story, Tiki, if out of context, that's a decent Catwoman ending. Like ending an episode where, okay, hey, look, Catwoman got away with all the jewels, and like the game goes on, that sort of thing. That's a nice cat in general. That's a nice Catwoman ending. But for this episode, just the souring that we've gotten with Catwoman in the revamp, not so much. It's like, why does she get away with everything? Why don't we have like an extra scene where, hey, next morning she wakes up, all the jewels are gone with a note to Batman?
Right.
I don't know. It's like, yeah, that's the end of the episode.
And you say that's pretty much the last we ever see of her too, so that's kind of like, that's not great.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know what else to add for final thoughts, Dragon. This is kind of a mess, easily at the bottom rung of season 4.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like the bottom rung, but it's very standard. It's not Catwoman's best at all. Again, as I mentioned, Catwoman's been a tricky balance for the DCAU at large. It's a shame we couldn't start with kind of Catwoman the Thief. Maybe things would have ironed out better at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, no one was ever happy with whatever version of Catwoman they did, really. And it's like either we finally get her as a thief and we have a weird design, and then we have like the whole like the kind of the embitterment towards her and Batman. We make her Mrs. Robinson for an episode, then we make her like this really this Audrey Hepburn-esque kind of thing in the second one. It's weird. So it's interesting to give. I mean, again, what I want to highlight in the episode is interesting to give her an arc and an arc with Batman, which I love Batman dealing with her after the breakup, and again, like, how this kind of fits into him going a little bit more distant, less trusting of people as we go further in the DCAU. I mean, I like that as like yet another thing that he's lost in the humanity side of things. But again, and it's like smart to lean into the kleptomania, but the episode's not about that. Again, like Catwalk, that was what the whole episode was about, and that episode worked a lot better. This, not so much. I mean, the cult and just the Catman roles, and it's a nice throwback to the early Batman stories, where Batman in his early years, he did face some cults, which that's a nice cult. I absolutely get where Dini's headspace is on this pitch. I do. But just the two elements aren't mixing well. I mean, maybe it is a good revamp on Catman, but I don't know why this cult worships cats, because we spent so much time with the comedy shtick with Catwoman. You know, it's just it's like it's more plot than it is a fleshed out concept, and I'm really divided on the ending. So it's a mixed episode. I mean, at least it feels like Batman compared to Critters. Critters, like, it could have been any episode. You know, yeah, it's where I'm at. It's just it's an iffy episode, not the worst thing ever, but you know, it's iffy, big time.
All right. Well, cue us into the next one, Dragon. Hopefully that one will maybe redeem this one a little bit.
The Haley Circus back in town. Tension in the Bat family. A family legacy in question. Can Nightwing get to the bottom of this circus crime spree conspiracy, or will Dick Grayson's past be tainted even further? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated Bat time, same animated Bat place.
On the next visit to the animated Batcave with Animal Act.
Would you like to know what my favorite animal is?